get the water running and circulating. I do know one chemical that I'm going to add initially anyway is this right here. So here's another plug. Doheny's Super Algicide Plus. I use this throughout the year. Matter of fact, I bought, a case of 4 of these size bottles, bonus size bottles, 2.5 years ago, and I still have two these bottles left, so they last a while. I don't, like I said, I don't put a lot of chemicals in my pool. Algicide is one of them, and typically for the opening, I put in 4 ounces of this into a 2-liter bottle. Right, I filled this with pool water, and then put 2 ounces of the blue stuff in here, shuck it up, and once I get that filter running, I'm going to go ahead and put this in the pool. That'll be my first chemical. I know that what you're supposed to check first is your alkalinity, right? And I'm going to be checking that here pretty soon. But I'm running out of daylight, so at least I wanted to get my algicide and 1 dose of super shock, 1 dose of shock into this pool, and I'm going to let this run all night, and we'll see where we are tomorrow. I'm sure we'll be in great shape. After the algicide add, I'm going to go ahead and put in a 1 dose of shock. So it's called super shock. I mean, shock is shock. It's a chlorine treatment, but we look into here, you're basically what you're looking at. I've got a 68% calcium hypochlorite level. Some of them are 56 or 58%. The initial one I want to do here today is this 68%, but I'll probably do a lower percentage through the season. So algicide and then this. It's the morning after our pool opening and things are looking good, looking really clear. Just a couple things left to do. I'm going to start vacuuming the crud. There's not too much, a little bit of crud though there on the bottom of the pool. Looking at my filter setup, looking good. This pressure is at about, see that, it's about 12, 11. You're supposed to let it go to 9 or 10 till about 20 before you do a backwash. We're going to backwash through this. It's looking good in here. Sure, not too much to clean out of there. Okay, so let's get this thing vacuumed and then we got to test some water, see where the chemical levels are. So the first test we're going to test for is total alkalinity. This is a fun test, and I'm really glad I got this multi-mixer. It's called the Speedster, actually. So for number 7, we're going to put in 2 drops. 1, 2, and then 5 drops of number 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to spin it on. Start spinning. See that? Isn't that nice? Now here's the thing. What we want to do is add number 9 until it turns red. Once it turns red, we stop. But we're going to count the number of drops it takes to make this red. Can we see that okay? Sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5. Ooh! 5 times 10 is 50. My total alkalinity is 50. Adjustments to do to get my alkalinity up. The total alkalinity needs to be about 80 or 90. So with that app, I plugged it into my phone, which I'm using to record. It said about 6 pounds of baking soda. So I've got the mega Costco bag, right? And 6 pounds is about a pound. It's about 1.5 cups per pound for baking soda. So I'm going to put in 9 cups of baking soda in the pool to get it to a level of about 80 or so total alkalinity. Thing is too, you need to know the size of your pool. The 24-footer is about 13,200 gallons, I believe. I looked it up, it's about 13,000 gallons. So this, I already plugged that into the app, and so it knows exactly the size of my pool and will make recommendations on what I need to do to get to the levels that I want, and that's what I'm doing now. All right, while that robot runs, cleaning up the bottom of the pool, I'm going to go ahead and retest the alkalinity. Remember, I added almost 6 pounds of baking soda. I'm trying to get this total alkalinity up to 80 parts per million. I've already set up the 2 drops of 7 and the 5 drops of 8. And what I'm looking is 9. I'm probably looking for 8 drops. Let's hope until it turns red. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 6, 7, 8. Here's 8. There it is. It's pinkish. 8, 9 makes it more red, probably. Yeah. So you know what? I'm going to call that 85. I'm going to call my total alkalinity 85. The app suggested between 60 and 80. I like it on the higher end. It just seems to work for me. So next thing I'm going to do is test the chlorine. I mentioned I know it's going to be pretty high because I just shocked last night. And I don't know if I mentioned it or not, when you shock, you want to make sure you're doing it in the late afternoon at dusk, right? Because I guess the shock could burn off, the sunlight I should say, could burn the shock off. So a fresh sample of water after shocking last night from this morning, or just a moment ago. So this is a really accurate chlorine test that comes with this Trouble-Free Pool, I think is the name of the company, TF100 test kit. Basically you take this powder, it's got that on the label, and this is the first time I've used it since I just got fresh chemicals in a week or so ago. I'm just going to put some, oh, this is kind of dry. Wasn't expecting that, but putting that in there, it's going to turn really pink. 1 scoop is enough, but I didn't have it quite full. Okay, there we go. And the directions say it doesn't matter. You don't have to be precise there. And now the trick is how many drops of the 0871 will it take? Each is a half a drop. It's probably going to take, I'm going to guess this is like 9 parts per million chlorine. Let's see, which would be 18 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And I take that number of drops and times it by 0.5, so 17 times 0.5 is 8.5. So my chlorine level is 8.5 parts per million. The recommendation is between 5 and 10, so I'm perfectly where I need to be. What's pretty cool is there's two types of chlorine. One's called free chlorine, and that's what's available and able to go attack algae or other bacteria that it's going to use. But once it attacks and kills something, it's dead itself. The chlorine molecule is dead itself, and that's where it's called combined chlorine. So what I'm going to do is, what do you do? This 003, right? I'm going to go ahead and put 5 drops of 003, and let's see if this turns back to pink. If it does, that means I got combined chlorine in the water. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that tells me is I don't have any combined chlorine right now, which meant when I first put in the shock, it didn't do a whole lot. It's in there protecting now, but it didn't kill a lot because there's no combined chlorine that would have combined with something and killed it. So, man, my chlorine level is really good, 8.5. I'm going to go ahead and record that in the app, and gosh, now I just need the water to warm up and it's ready to roll. And while I'm testing, I might as well test the pH. I mean, there's 3 tests you do on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. Well, basically the chlorine and pH are the big ones. Total alkalinity, alkalinity, a little less frequently, but I've got to test the pH. So this is a little more subjective. You just fill it up, fill your pool water up to that top black line, and we're going to add 5 blacks of this reagent. It's R number 0014. I'm going to add 5 drops to this, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay. And I'm going to put the lid on it and I'm not going to shake it. I'm just going to turn it upside down and back. Around, and I don't know, I tell you, look at that. You match it up against a color scale, right, over here, the color of the water to the scale next to it, and let's see, I come up with 7.5. I come up with 7.5 there. I want it closer to 7.6, 7.7, 7.8, tops at 7.8. So I'm going to actually increase the pH of the pool as well. There's a product I bought, a big jug of it, 3 years ago. It's called pH Up, and that's to basically increase the pH of your pool water. So I'll get back in the app, and it's going to tell me how much FUP or pH up to put in the water, and then my pH will be up to the 7.7, 7.8 range that I want. So I'm going to wrap up testing with one more test. You got to do this test at least right after opening when you can, and then maybe one more time during the year. The thing is, the test is for CYA, known as Cyanuric Acid. It's kind of like sunblock for your chlorine. It prevents your chlorine from just being burned off by the sun really quick. I know a couple years ago I didn't have the CYA level. I didn't have the test for it, and I would shock my pool to get it like 8 or 9. And it's down to 3 or 4 in 2 days. I'm like, what? And I'm not smelling the chlorine, because when chlorine is working, when you smell chlorine, that's when it's working. That's when the chlorine molecules are attacking bacteria or algae or other type of molecules and killing it. You'll smell the chlorine. So when you don't smell the chlorine, it means it's not working because it doesn't need to work, because it's just protecting then. But anyway, this CYA test I just did, and it's an interesting test. It comes with this TF test kit. My cyanuric acid level is about 65 or 70 as shown here. That's a really good level to be at to start. You don't really have to worry about maintaining it, because the chlorine tabs, the 3-inch chlorine tabs you buy and put in your pool, you'll see something called conditioner, maybe even CYA. It says like a 4-in-1 or a 6-in-1 chlorine tablet. It means it has that in it, and so it's being released into your pool all spring and summer long. So that's how you maintain that CYA level. If you're low, there's always a CYA, cyanuric acid, you can buy at the pool store to put it in. But once you get your level there, the chlorine tablets will take care of it.